This channel is powered by patreon.com/swiftlessons. Enjoy a library of specialized resources to help fast-track your guitar journey. Hey everybody, welcome back to Swift Lessons for a quick tour of the fretboard, breaking down the 5 caged positions of the minor pentatonic scale, this time in the key of F. So climbing up the fretboard, we're going to begin in the very popular E-shaped position. Then the D-shaped position, which overlaps with the upper extension. The C-shaped position. The A-shaped position. And then finally, we're going to examine the G-shaped position. Let's take a close look at the fretboard. Okay, a close look at the fretboard, getting started with position number 1 of our minor pentatonic scale in the key of F. Climbing up the fretboard, our first position is the E-shaped position, because it's going to overlap with the F major chord played as an E shape or an E shaped bar chord. All right, looks and sounds like this. Alright, so that was 1-4, A string 1-3, D string 1-3, same thing on the J, and then the B string 1-4, and the same on the high E. Alright, get that into your fingertips. Now that right there is what most players would call the common position. It's common because it's very, very symmetrical, making it extremely easy to play. Additionally, it's also very easy in this position to implement the flatted 5th. Right there, in this case, on the 2nd fret of the A string. That turns this minor pentatonic scale into a minor blues scale. You can find another octave of it just like this. Adding in the 4th fret of the G string. And then the rest is verbatim. And that just gives you a lot more flavor. Additionally, it's also very easy to implement the major 3rd, which comes in handy if you're playing in a major key. Now remember, the minor pentatonic scale can be used over both major and minor, but when you're playing over major, it's very, very nice to add in this note that we have here inside the major chord, the major 3rd. In this case, the 2nd fret of the G string. For a little major flavor. Okay, so you can implement the flatted 5th and the major 3rd into this position very easily. Okay, now going up the fretboard, we're gonna find F dominant 7, an octave up, just like this. And of course we have the major triad, and also we have the minor triad. Surrounding those chord shapes, we have another position of the minor pentatonic scale, the D-shaped position. Looks and sounds like this. Okay, if you're coming off the root note, it'll be 1, 4, 6, 3, 6, 3, 6, 3, 5. Then the B string, 4, 6, and the same thing on the high E string. You put that together and we have... Okay, now, inside that shape, we have a position that we call the upper extension. A lot of times when players are relying on the main position of the minor pentatonic scale, they'll jump into this little kind of partial of the D-shaped position. Just playing 5, 4, 6, 4, 6. This position is very, very useful because again, we can find the major third. And of course we can find the flat at fifth. Right there on the high E string, 7th fret. And right here on the 4th fret of the G string as well. But simply, here is the D-shaped position of the minor pentatonic scale, key of F. Okay, now let's find the C-shaped position. Going up the fretboard, this is where the beginning of this cage sequence starts, spelling out C-A-G-E-D with these chord shapes. So here's an F dominant 7 chord. Overlapping with that, I have. Alright, so that started off with all whole steps there on the E, A, and D string. Okay, 6/8, 6/8, 6/8. Always keep track of where your root notes are so you can resolve. Alright, then traveling up. 5 on the G, up to 8. And then we're gonna have 6, 9 on the B. And then the high E string, 6 up to 8. You put that entire position together and we have. And right there is your root note. Okay, now this position overlaps with the very popular BB's box. And also the box that we call the Clapton box, which is just this C-shaped position, but only playing the G, B, and high E strings. Okay, so now let's review. We have the E-shaped position. Alright, and you know that you can add in your major thirds. And also your flat at fifths. Alright, to sweeten that up. Then we have the D-shaped position. Looks and sounds like this. And of course we can add in the flat at 5 and the major third. Alright, then we have the C-shaped position. Overlapping with the BB's box. And also the Clapton box. Alright, now we're moving on to the A-shaped position. I found my F note root. Then I'm gonna build a little A7 looking shape off of that. Alright, and surrounding that chord, I have another position. Alright, so here we're playing 8 up to 11. Same thing on the A. And then the D string, 8 to 10. Same thing on the G. Move up a fret for the B string. And then the high E string is going to get 8 to 11. Put all that together and we have. Alright, now this is another position where we can find some blues scale notes. Here's my root note on the G string and also on the A string. Alright, so that was the A-shaped position. Okay, now our final position for today, let's see if you can get it down. Find yourself an F major chord played as a G shape. Alright, you can also turn this into a dominant 7 chord. Okay, just playing 13, 12, 13, 10. Surrounding that shape we have. Try to find symmetry in these patterns. So here we have whole step, same thing on the A. Then we're playing minor thirds on the D and G, and then again back to whole steps on the B string and the high E string. All right, now let's review. Let's go up the fretboard, playing through each of these cage shapes, and let's be sure to play the dominant 7 that overlaps with each shape as we go. So getting started with the E shape position, an F dominant 7 chord, very bluesy. All right, then we had the D shape position. Then we had the C shape position. Then we had the A shape position. And then of course we have the G shape position. Alright everybody, take the time to get each of these patterns into your muscle memory and be sure to marry them with their overlapping chord shape. For example, each of those dominant 7 chord shapes will overlap with a caged pattern. And alright, the next thing you want to do is see if you can transpose this to a different key, giving you the ability to play across the fretboard in all 12 keys. For example, can you take everything you learned today up a full step to the key of G? There's our E shape, then we have our D shape, our C shape, then we have our A shape, and of course the G shape. Alright, and just like that, you've unlocked the entire fretboard. Enjoy your practice.